All right, it's Mark again, Custom Design and Build. We're out here with Mike in Abingdon, Maryland, checking out his project that we finished, last year sometime or so. We just wanted to ask Mike a few questions about his experience with us and his project, and so let's get that started. Mike, what were the problems with this space before you had us come out?
Yeah, we really didn't know what to do with it. It was a weird property space where, it was on the side of a hill. So, we had almost like 3 levels and really had no clue what to do with it. We kind of had some ideas, but had no idea what we were doing and didn't know what we didn't know. So, that was kind of the starting point.
Yeah, I remember. You're basically almost kind of on a hillside out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had multiple levels, multiple restrictions for the county on where we could build and not build. So I think we pretty much maxed out the building line back here to get all this to fit.
Yeah, considering how little space there was back here, and considering it was literally in the middle of the house, it basically was a hill that went up. One half of the hill of the house was almost half a floor higher than the other, and not having much space back here, we were very constrained. But we had some ideas but didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, we went with the old 3-tier option, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it turned out really well. Tons of compliments. I've had, I think every single neighbor has asked me who did it and where they got it done. It's been pretty successful and loved the way it turned out. Every project is its own special, situation, but this one really turned out well, I think.
Awesome. So why did you hire us?
Honestly, we went with a recommendation of the builder. We got unfortunately we moved in the middle of COVID when we built and, moved down from New England. So we had no idea of anybody in the area. My wife changed roles and we switched down here, and then, COVID hit. So, we didn't even get a chance really to get in here during the build. I mean, we were definitely behind the 8 ball in terms of, the house was ready, we were prepared, and we had no real plan for what we were gonna do with the backspace. And, we're a floor and a half up to an empty air with the back deck area.
Right.
So yeah, no, we talked to our builder. You guys came highly recommended. I think you did, the fencing and the bridge work back here, which, on our pass behind, which turned out really well. So, and then I think you had us, if I remember correctly, we went and saw a couple other properties that you'd done nearby. We compared it to some other options that we found locally, and the work was just, heads and tails above the other stuff we'd seen.
Awesome. Appreciate hearing that. Thank you. Tell me about your experience with working with us.
It was great. You definitely get what you pay for, right? And if you're going for higher quality, materials and stuff, it wasn't the cheapest quote that we had, but it was the most reasonable for what we were getting. Honestly, the attention to detail that you and the guys that were really involved in the project from a leadership perspective, it was just, there was a time I remember when I wasn't here, I was away for work, and you called me and said, hey, we knocked down a wall because it was slightly crooked. I would have probably never noticed it in a million years, but you treated the property like it was your property. I remember there was a time we have those cool stone steps, which everybody loves, by the way. It turned out awesome. And I remember you looked at one and was like, yeah, I don't like this. And it literally brought the truck back around. I don't know what it cost you to deal with, but to literally change out a stone that was kind of weird and wasn't really a good step stone to replace it with others. The attention to detail on that and treating it like it was your own property. It was, that's why we're planning on using you guys again for other projects.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we got a machine stuck down there.
You did. Yeah, you did get a machine stuck. that was comical. But look, we had you guys do another project along the side that turned out awesome, and some more beds and landscaping. So yeah, no, I couldn't speak highly.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Okay, Mike, well, I appreciate your time. I got one more question for you.
Fire away.
It's basically, how do you plan on using the space now?
Luckily, we're kind of a year in. What we ended up with is obviously the underneath the deck that's the walkout from the basement. We've got the deck that comes off of our kitchen, and then we kind of have the middle tier that everything feeds to, that you also built the path from my driveway to. So we've had a couple parties that made it really easy for people to go directly to the backyard space from the side. And everybody loves the way that the entrance is and the way that the landscaping along the side as you come along is. That definitely turned out really well. And the path lighting, because we did one night one, that was nice. I love that our deck does not just turn on automatically if I don't feel like it. From a lighting standpoint, we've got lots of neighbors where it gets real bright, and we do like sitting out here where it's dark and quiet. So yeah, we use the patio a ton. We use the deck a ton. We've got the fire pit, which we've used, and candidly, only a few times, because we have the fire table on the deck, so that's hard to argue with.
Right.
But it really is nice because we have almost 3 complete separate spaces. So when we did have a party, and we actually did a graduation party we held for some friends, it was nice to be able to separate that, have that full outdoor space, but each thing be its own separate entity. So it's been really nice from that perspective.
Yeah, the best of all the outdoor living spaces you could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
The cooking area, the lounge area, the jacuzzi area underneath of where we're sitting right
Yeah,
now.
unfortunately we didn't have enough space for like the full outdoor kitchen, but I know I've seen some of the other ones that you guys did, and we were really trying to figure out how to factor that in, and it just didn't work. But I did really appreciate too, you know, I think like if we would have just went with what was originally drawn, it wouldn't have been correct. You know, but your guys' willingness to adapt, and just you saying, not being glued to specifics, and saying, you know, in middle, like, hey, this original's, because you know, if you remember the patio was a little bit smaller,
Right.
just
It
because
was
that was
yeah.
based on the design of the area, but it really, you maximized the space and changed it midstream, which I think turned out way better. So no,
Awesome.
it's great.
Well, I appreciate the feedback on that.
Thanks.
And, yeah, I appreciate your time. You
Yeah,
know.
thanks again.
Thanks,
Sounds
buddy.
good. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.